Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So I'm super excited for today's video because I'm finally posting an everything I crocheted this week video. It has been so long, I feel like, since I've made one of these, but as you all know, we were super busy over the summer, and then I got a new job and a new role at church on Wednesday evenings, and so just a lot of newness in my life. So the amount that I was able to crochet drastically reduced. But now that I'm kind of in the swing of things a little more, back at it. I spent so much time crocheting this weekend. It was a great weekend for crochet. So I used to do these videos all the time on my channel, and so many people really seem to enjoy them. So I'm super excited to start bringing those back. My goal is to post these sometime between Friday and Sunday, just depending on what my week looks like. You know, the day may vary, but basically I'll be showing you all the crochet projects I worked on in the last week. So I have some WIPs and I have some finished objects. So I hope you are as excited to see what I've been working on as I am to show you. But first, I would love to ask you to subscribe and become a part of this awesome community that we have here on YouTube. It is truly a great one. Such kind and positive people are a part of this community. So if you enjoy crochet, if you love yarn, if you like hauls, as far as like Dollar Tree hauls, yarn store hauls, then you're in the right place. If you like to see what people are working on, what kind of WIPs that they have going on in their crochet life, then definitely subscribe. I would love to have you, and it would mean so much to me. And if you do like this video, then please like this video. It means a lot to me as well. So let's just get started. So first thing I want to bring up is I finally did a few more rows on my Mosaic blanket. So a couple weeks ago, I asked if you all would like to see me start working on this again, because it's been a while since I have worked on it. And this is one of my oldest running WIPs. I've had it since the beginning of my channel, about a year and a half ago. And it's one that I anticipated I would just kind of work slowly on. And that's exactly what I'm doing. And I've kind of come to the conclusion that instead of making it a full-size blanket, I'm going to make it sort of like a wrap blanket, one that I can, just wrap around me, that's bigger than like a traditional wrap, but smaller than a blanket, if that makes sense. So I'm excited about that, and I'm about probably halfway to the point that I want it to be. So here it is. I have done probably about 4 rows since the last time I showed this. So probably a lot of this diamond that you see starting to form here. So yeah, this is one of my favorite projects. It's just so fun with all the colors, and my first time trying Mosaic crochet, and I've fallen in love with it. It definitely takes a lot of focus, but it's not hard to do. It just takes a while to get through a Mosaic project, because if you look at the back, as you can see, those rows are tiny, because even though you're using double crochet stitches, they're drop down stitches. So each row only grows by about the height of a single crochet. So it's basically like you're single crocheting a whole blanket, if you want to look at it that way. But I love the way the back of Mosaic looks. I think that's so pretty. And then here's a better view of the whole blanket so far. And because I'm making it a wrap blanket, I do think I'm going to leave the fringe. I'm definitely not weaving in the ends. MJ's Off the Hook Designs, she is the one that I got this pattern from. And again, all patterns will always be linked below to whatever I show you. So she also has a tutorial for this that I highly recommend. But she has a tutorial where you can do a double border where you sandwich all these ends in. If I was going to make this blanket normal size, I would definitely do that. But since I'm making it a wrap blanket, I think I'm just going to leave them, because I do like the way that looks. I'm using the Red Heart Roll With It melange in the color Hollywood, and I'm also using Elephant Gray in Pound of Love. Now, what stinks about this though is here's the skein I'm currently using. It's pretty soft, and I like it. I went ahead and ordered another skein online pretty soon after I bought that one, because I knew I'd probably need it for this project, which now I'm hoping I won't, since I'm only making it, wrap blanket size. But the other skein I got is a different dye lot, so it is slightly off in color, and it's not as soft. So that kind of stinks, but as I said, I'm hoping I don't need to use it. Anyway, enough about this one. I just love it. I love to show it off because it looks really good on camera. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed seeing that one. Okay, and then this next one, a lot of you will be super excited to see because it's been so long since I've showed this one as well. But I did work a little bit more on my temperature blanket. I did about 5 days worth, and that puts me almost to the very end of June. So I am 3 months behind. So I was thinking if like every other day I did like 5 days worth, it would catch me up, you know, in several weeks. So, you know, it's doable. And even if I don't, I'm hoping to get it done by the end of the year. But if not, it's okay. This blanket is for me and my family. I am going to try to get it done by the end of the year. It's totally possible, especially once the weather cools down and we're inside a lot more. So yeah, but I'm not going to stress about it. I enjoy working on it, and I really enjoyed working on it this weekend. So the temperatures I worked on this week, it was pretty much in the 80s, and we had one day with a high of 90. I'm doing the highs. I'm also doing the moss stitch. I'm using a 5.5mm hook, and I'm using I love this yarn. What's it called? I love this yarn print. I'm using variegated yarn. So that was something a lot of you all said you really liked. I wanted it to be different than just a traditional temperature blanket, so I decided to go with variegated yarn, and I'm loving the way that it looks. So here is the blanket. It's getting pretty big, so you won't be able to see the whole thing at once. But when it's done, I'm going to do a better video where I can get the whole thing in the frame, hopefully, or at least most of it. So here's where I left off. I did probably about this much. This is another one that doesn't grow very much in height because the moss stitch is basically single crochet. It actually grows by like less than a single crochet because you can see there you're crocheting into the space, the chain space, so it kind of brings it down a little, or else it seems that way anyway. Yeah, we mainly used this color, which is Amber Honey. This is my color for like the 80s range. And we also used a little bit of the Struggle is Teal, which is in my 70s range. So those are basically the two colors you're seeing here. Those turquoises, oranges, yellows, and white is what you're seeing there. And then here, I'm going to stand up as we go down the blanket. Some of those deeper colors, a lot of those with the purple in it and the burgundies, those are colors that are for a little bit lower temperatures, all the way down here where we have a lot of that spring green, which is I think my 50s. So here's where I started, and you can see how the color is shifting to now being what it is here. Now I anticipate that the way that this looks with the turquoises, oranges, and whites will probably continue on through September. We've pretty much had pretty consistent weather as to what you're seeing here since June. So you will see a little bit less of the Struggle is Teal. We haven't had many days in the 70s until now, but you will probably see more of the Royal Gorge, so more of this coral color. So I anticipate a lot of the Amber Honey and several of the Royal Gorge. So we'll see that, and then as we get into October, we'll probably go back to that spring green color and the cedar, what is it called? Cedar something. Maybe? Cinnamon cedar. That one is one we'll probably see in October, November, December. And then I'm hoping to be able to bring in some of this color because we didn't get to use this one yet. This is for my very coldest. But yeah, anyway, I really enjoyed this. I really love the way the variegated colors are looking. Let me bring it a little closer because I feel like you can see the colors better and the stitch better. I love how tight this fabric is with the moss stitch. So here's some of that. And I am really loving the way these colors are playing out now into June and July. So I love it. I'm really happy with it, and I think I'm going to absolutely love it. To me, it reminds me of like stained glass, or someone else said it kind of looks like rows of like tulips or some kind of flowers. So that one has been super fun to get back into. Okay, then the next thing is a finished object, and I love this thing so much. This is a sunflower turtle. This is a pattern by All From Jade. I've talked about this several times, but I just love this pattern. It's relatively cheap on Etsy, and you get so many different variations. So she shows you how to make just a basic turtle, but then she also gives you like different flowered modifications, um, fruit modifications. She has like a strawberry turtle, a kiwi turtle, and then she just gives you color ideas if you wanted to do the shell like striped or whatever. So many options, such good inspiration all in one pattern. It includes tutorials for like the sunflower petals and other parts. And yeah, it's a really easy, it's no sew, by the way. I didn't mention that. But yeah, I highly recommend this pattern. It is very easy to follow, and I think you would love making it if you enjoy amigurumi. This is the Premier Parfait Chunky that I made it out of, except for the brown. That is the Just Chenille by Premier. I do prefer the Parfait Chunky, but in a project like this where I'm only using a small amount, I didn't mind to use the Just Chenille. But yeah, I just love how this turned out, and I think I finished it up at the perfect time. I definitely want to make a strawberry one next, so hopefully you guys will see that soon. And I just love doing small little amigurumi projects in between some of these bigger ones, because I do enjoy bigger projects and I enjoy smaller projects. So it's nice to be able to kind of alternate and work on both whenever I feel like it. So yeah, here is a little bit of a closer look at that one. I really love the way that she did these petals. I mean, it looks just like a sunflower. It's so cute. Okay, and then something else that you all saw this week were these little strawberries. I made a video talking about the yarn under method when doing amigurumi, and this wasn't the best example, I will say, because of the type of yarn that I used. I think that you could see it much better with the Premier. I showed you an example of the frog that I did using the yarn under versus this one that I did the yarn over. So if you haven't seen that video, I highly recommend to check it out if you have never heard of that method or love to do amigurumi. But this, I probably should have done these out of a thinner weight yarn, because this one didn't really show the difference as much as I would like. I can tell the difference, but it's not anywhere near as noticeable as I would have liked it to be. But I made them specifically for the video, so I still wanted to show them, and they are cute. But I am thinking about buying some little earring hooks and making these earrings. I think that these would be so cute as little earrings, especially because I work in the school now, and of course the kids love little things like this. And I don't think they'd be too heavy at all. They feel very light. So yeah, let me know what you think. Do you think they'd be cute as earrings? I also think they'd be cute as keychains. And then the last thing is another WIP that I'm really super excited about. So I do car duty in the mornings at school, and I'm out there for 35 minutes, and I know I'm going to be freezing cold once it gets cold outside. So I definitely wanted a new chunky beanie. Some of my other chunky beanies that I've made either just don't fit me right, or the yarn is itchy to me, and so I'm pretty picky when it comes to my hats these days. Worsted weight yarn doesn't keep my ears as warm as I want them to, and so I really wanted to find a good chunky yarn that's not itchy, that was soft, that was stretchy, and I found the perfect one. And it is the one I showed the other day in my yarn under video. I showed it at the very end. It is a new yarn at Michael's, and it is the Loops and Threads Multi-Marled. It's an acrylic yarn. It's a 5 weight, but to me it feels almost like a 6 weight. I'd say it's in between. Here's the tag. It's 130 yards. They recommend a 9mm. I am using an 8mm for this project. So this project, I will link who it's by below. It's slipping my mind right now. I want to say it's Daisy Farm Crafts. Hopefully that's correct, but I will link it. And I love this pattern because it's completely adjustable. So she gives you a size chart if you just want to go by that, and it goes all the way from like preemie to like adult large. So many options there. But you can also measure around your head and from here up for the height, this way for the width, and customize it to any head size. So I love that. And you basically are doing like a modified bean stitch, I think is what it's called, and you're making a rectangle, seaming it up the sides, cinching it at the top, and you add a little border at the bottom if you want to, and a pom-pom if you want to. So here's what I have so far. I'm not completely done, but I'm really loving the way that this is looking so far. This is the color Shortbread, and I love it. I love that it has that beige off-white base, and then it has those pops of like that jade green with that peachy color, pinkish color. I just love this so much. I think it's going to look great as a hat. Also, I was looking, and this is almost like perfect ear warmer size. So yeah, and it feels super warm. It's not itchy at all. It's so soft, so bouncy. I actually had to, I measured my head and then I had to undo some chains because even though it was the correct size, it was so stretchy that I just didn't need to chain as much as I thought. The only thing is, I'm really hoping that this skein will last me for the entire hat. I feel like it's going to be cutting it close, and I kind of want to go and stock up on this yarn right now. I looked online and it's like $5.59 a skein, down from $7.99 I think was the original, and they have so many beautiful colorways. I really would like to stock up on this because this is like, in my opinion, the perfect bulky, chunky weight yarn for making hats and stuff. So I really don't want to spend any money, but I think I might have to do it. Because also I feel like these would look perfect as little pumpkins. So if you haven't checked this out, check it out. It's a great, great, great one. I love it. And again, 8mm hook for that one. I decided to size down. I thought 9mm seemed a little big, but that's just preference. So that is everything I worked on this week. It feels so good to have gotten so much done and worked on so many projects. It was just such a blessing. I've missed it so much, just being able to enjoy my hobby. But as I've said, now that things are kind of settling in and we're getting more into the fall, I really hope that this is a consistent thing. Okay, and then the verse I want to share with you today is going to come out of the book of Psalms. Real quick, I just wanted to show you all this for any of you that teach at church, like any type of kids ministry. If you're involved in that for kids in any way, this is the study that we have just picked up at our church for Wednesday nights, and it's really, really awesome. It's called The ABCs of God. It says a study for children on the greatness and worth of God by Jill Nelson, and it is so amazing. It literally walks you through step by step everything you need to teach. It also has, for every letter, you learn a different thing. So our first letter was Q for questions. So it doesn't go like A, B, C in order all to Z, but it ties everything in. So like I was our next one, which is incomprehensible. And they just learn something about God as we bring up each letter. So like last week I taught on, it was the letter E for eternal. And this verse is Psalm 90 verse 2. And it says, before the mountains were brought forth, or ever you had formed the earth and the world, from everlasting to everlasting, you are God. So that just, it's talking about how God is eternal. And so actually might have been 2 weeks ago we did this one, because it was creator last week. So anyway, I just love that verse because it reminds us that God has no beginning and he has no end. He created forever. He created all things and will be around forever. He's not going anywhere. And he reminds us that before any of this world even existed, he was still God. Before we were here, he was still God. And so we can trust him. He's powerful. He's mighty. He's holy. He's beyond our full comprehension. And that's the kind of God that we should want to serve. If we could understand everything about God, of course, in our mind, we think that would be amazing, and it would. And hopefully, once we're with him, we will. But isn't it amazing to have a God that is just so far above us that we can trust him? Because no human, no matter how awesome of a person they are, cannot be fully trusted. We're still human. We're not perfect and we make mistakes. But we know that the Lord, that Jesus was perfect, that our Heavenly Father, he's perfect. And we can trust in him above all, and it's a comforting feeling. So anyways, I really hope that you enjoyed seeing what all I've been working on this week. I would love to know what you're working on, so leave me a comment below. Let me know what was your favorite item that I showed you today. I really pray that you all have an amazing week. I pray that God blesses you, and I'll see you super soon in the next one. Bye!